What's up, Purist? This is Bob from Purist Motorsports again. Got some things to do to the 1990 Celine today. Got two things we're going to accomplish today. We're going to change the motor mounts, and we're going to change the H-pipe out. So let's get started. Okay guys, here. So we've got the motor mounts. You can see they're not in NOS condition, but they're way better than what's in the car. So we're going to use these to get the motor taken care of. When we take it back apart later on to take care of some of the rust issues, we'll do a lot more detail with those, things like that. But well, a lot more detail as in like we'll actually take them and paint them, make them look really nice. But at this point I just want to get it to where the car's driving down on the ground and running. Well, it runs, but it needs to be on the ground. The other piece is this H-pipe. This is a 2 1/4 off-road Motorsport H-pipe. It is not NOS, but it is in really good shape. And at one point these were not very valuable because everybody wanted 2.5 inch, and then even these days some people want 3-inch exhaust, depending on your power level. But this is a period correct part that would go on this car. And from what I can tell, there is one of these already on this car, but somebody has cut it and they've put cats on it. And that makes sense, because if the car was in a location where you had to pass emissions or a visual inspection, they had to have cats on the car. So what we're going to do is change it back out to where there are no cats on the car. With this being an antique, it doesn't have to be passing smog, at least in my area. That may be different depending on where you're viewing this, but at least here it's just a weekend cruiser. It's registered as an antique car, so this is acceptable. So let's get started. Okay, as with anything, expect things like this to happen. Let's see if we grab it. The studs are really rusted. I don't know if you can see that. And it broke, so that's okay. I got actually have an extra set of JBA headers. Show you a couple things. I'll show you those right now, and then I'll show you the tailpipes that drive me crazy. Little details like this. Just I don't know. I like things to be just so. I'm OCD and I'm perfectionist to a fault. So here's the JBA header that I have, and the studs are in way better shape. So you can see that originally they're coated. The ones on this car are, well, they've been on there so long, the coating's just flaking off, and they've got more surface rust than these. So these would be better to go on the car, and then down the road have them blasted and ceramic coated again. I think maybe JBA did jet hot coating. Does that sound right? It sounds like that's a file in my brain saying that. So comment below if you think that's the case. I think it's jet hot. The tailpipe gets turned in the opening, even on just the stock cars. I like things, they just look like they're, see the top where this is kind of cut here is off center. I want it to be centered. And to do that, you take the muffler and everything and just kind of move it. That, and then also when you're doing that, you can see how close this pipe is to the gas tank. It's probably actually touching it. It's loose now because I've got the headers loose, but this is touching the gas tank. It's really close. And you see, it's just really close. That's not supposed to be that close. It would be best if it was a little further away. And then when you push the tailpipe that way, it will center it up over in the opening down here. and then make the tailpipe kind of sit right to me. I don't know, I'm just a stickler for little details like that. Some people it doesn't matter, I guess, or they have a preference of it looking a different way. But to me, they're just, it needs to be centered in that, and it's not. The other side's the same way. So, but with that stud breaking, that kind of is a game changer. We'll have to remove the headers, but oh well, just part of it. Done it before. I'm sure I'll do it again. So with that, here we go.
I'm searching for something simple and free.
I wanted to set them side by side to show you. Hopefully we're getting a good shot of that. So these bends, this has obviously been cut, but these couplings are the same. Everything forward of this catalytic converter is identical, and bends, and the same with the other side. You can see here, so this was a 2 1/4 off-road H-pipe at one point. When it was added to the car, I don't know. As I've said before, this car has a bunch of Motorsport parts, and Bleakley was touting themselves as the #1 Motorsport dealer at the time. So it wouldn't surprise me if the first owner had this put on the car. Depending on where they lived at the time, they may not have had to have emissions inspection, or I don't know what the circumstances are. Hopefully I can connect with former owners of the car. That happens in the Saline community quite a bit, so we'll see. Who knows, life changes for people and things happen. But these are definitely the same H-pipe at one point, but the latter one is, the one I just took off has had catalytic converters added. And with that, I guess we'll take the headers off now, because we got to. The headers here. This, you can tell they are the same header. Yeah, that's the same with this one over here. They are the same header, bends and all. So we're not putting anything on the car that's any different than what it had. We're just putting some on that are in better shape. So that's for sure. So I guess we need to get these on the car so we could get it back functional, because right now you can't start it. While I'm at it, I got the headers out of the way, I could show you what these motor mounts look like. So you can see here, they're dry rotted and coming apart and splitting, and they're different. They're not the encapsulated kind that the later cars came with. You see down there, you probably could see I did replace the starter. I did that before I started the videos. It would intermittent starting problem when I bought the car, so that happens. The same with this side of the motor mount. It's coming apart. The rubber's not really in good shape at all, so that's why we're going to replace them. And now's a good time since the exhaust is out of the way, and it's probably worked out best that it went this way. It never goes as planned, does it? So we'll put the motor mounts in next. Okay guys, here we go. Here are the old motor mounts. This is why they need to be changed out. So they're just old and tired. So the new ones are in. Okay, I'm probably covered in grease. I don't know, I didn't even look at myself. So I'm at a stopping point. This took longer than expected because I broke a stud in the header, typical. But headers are in, as you can see, those are in there. Got both sides in. Was hoping to be able to fire it back up today, let you all hear the idle, but with all that was involved, I'll have to come to a close. I have to stop. It's just come to a stopping point. The O2 sensors won't come out of the old H-pipe, so I've got to order new ones. No big deal. It's probably good to replace them anyways. And then once I get those, come back into this, knock it all out, straighten up the tailpipes, get everything in, and call it a day. So until next time, peace.